Hello and welcome back to the Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. Today I want to share with you my top 3 tips for getting the most done in your week. These are 3 things that help me to get the absolute most done that I can in my week. So number 1, seems simple, but it is very important, is write it down. I will be at the church and someone says, could you send me this? Or have you done this? And I think, oh goodness, I didn't. I need to write that down immediately. Or I'm going to walk on to something else and think of another thing that I need to do. And that last task is just going to pop right back out of my brain. So the way that I take care of that is I use the app on my phone, the Reminders app. So use whatever list that you want to use that you're going to have with you. I do write things down on my planner on a very consistent basis, but I don't just carry my planner around with me. So I almost always have my phone. I'm going to utilize that Reminders app, the list I have created a list that says to do this week. So I'm going to use that list and write down that thing that person just asked me. Later that evening, when I am looking at what I need to do tomorrow and creating my plan for the next day, or if I'm sitting down to create my plan for the week, I'm going to look at that list on my phone and I'm going to remember that, oh, I wrote this task down that I needed to do, and then I move it to my planner where that I am going to get it done that day or move it to whatever day it needs to get done. The point is, write it down. If you have your planner close by, fantastic, write it in your planner. But if you don't, find another way that you can keep a list of these tasks. They seem like little things, but we can think of the little things that if we forget to do, they become the big things. So tip number 1 is to write it down. My second tip is to get the most important things done at the beginning of the week. Get the most important things done first. This tip is something that really helps to add that margin in my week. I will take the most important tasks that I have and try my very best to work those in to Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. I find that if I wait until Friday or Saturday to get something done that is due on Sunday, something that must be done by Sunday, what if something happens? I am really giving room to Murphy. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And so if I wait to do that later in the week, what happens if something random happens, if life happens, and life is going to happen? So the thing that I have found that really helps me to have that room later in my week, to have the room in my week for if something does happen, a kid gets sick, I get sick, I have an unexpected emergency, I am going to take the most important things and put them at the beginning of the week. Now I take that even a step further with my day. I have a daily big 3 that I need to get done. And sometimes those things aren't this huge task. Maybe it's just making a phone call. I don't know about you, but for some reason, I hate making phone calls sometimes. I need to call and make a dispute on a medical bill I received or something like that. Most of the time, it is a very quick phone call, but I don't want to do that. However, it's a really important task. If I don't do that and then I don't pay the medical bill, it's going to collections. You can see how these tiny little tasks will become a huge situation. So what I want to do is I want to write that down as one of my big 3. That is one of the most important things I need to get done that day. And when I start my morning, I look at that list, and rather than grabbing a task that is more enjoyable, something I don't mind doing, I'm going to go ahead and do those big 3, the things that are the most important. If I get those done early in the day, what happens if I get a phone call that's an emergency? Or what happens if I begin to not feel well? I am going to still have the most important things done if I put those early in the day. So tip number 2 is get the most important things done first. And tip number 3 is something that if you've been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about. Set a timer. I love timers. It's because I can tell myself there is this large project and maybe it seems really overwhelming. Maybe it's something that I find enjoyable, but I just feel like it's an overwhelming project, or it's one of those projects that I just really don't want to get it started yet. I will write in my planner 30 dash and then whatever that is. And what that lets me know is I'm going to take 30 minutes to do this today. 30 minutes is what I'm going to give this project. Now, occasionally I may have a little bit more time to give to that and I get deep into the work and I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep going. This is flowing really well. Or the timer goes off and I feel relief. Okay, I've given 30 minutes to this project and now I can move on to the next thing that I need to get done. And then tomorrow I will probably need to put another 30 minutes into this project. By setting a timer, I am giving myself a manageable amount of time to get something done. And I'm also giving myself the ability to check something off of my list, even though it's a really large project. I hear this really often when people are asking me about the planner. What if I put on my big three this large project that I have that there's no way I'm going to complete it that day? How do I check that off? Well, the way to do that is to say either I'm going to complete this aspect of the project. This is a portion of the project I need to get done. I'm going to create that as a task and put that as my big three. Or I'm just going to set a timer. I'm going to give myself 30, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever that you need to do to get that project done. These are my 3 favorite productivity tips to help me get the most done in my week. If you try one of these, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when the next video goes live.